The ImPACT testing has been around since the mid-90s. It was created, and I can't remember exactly the people's name, but it was created in the mid-90s, and it was created by, in part, neurologists, in part, doctors, and then also trainers. And it was in order to give a better idea of where that athlete was prior to a concussion, as far as their cognitive ability, so that they could somehow measure or test that post-injury. So after the concussion, they could go in and test them again, and then that would say whether or not they had come back to full cognitive ability, or if they needed some more time to recover, or if they needed more treatment.
How soon after somebody's been injured can you test them?
48 to 72 hours.
Okay.
So within, what you want to do is, if a medical doctor or a trainer or anybody who's on the sideline or anybody who's at the game and there's an injury where there's a potential for a concussion, then the doctor or trainer or EMT person, the trained staff member will do the determination on whether that player should or shouldn't return to play.
Mm-hmm.
And once that has been established, that they have had a concussion by the doctor, then within 48 to 72 hours, you administer this test. And this is the post-injury test. And then that test can be viewed not only by the administrators at the school, it can also be viewed by the same doctor that treated the initial injury or any other doctors on staff, and they can see where that athlete is at.
What's the average time of return after an injury?
If you have a concussion, and there's different variations of how serious a concussion is, but if you take a mild concussion, in general the doctor's going to say it's a week. So if you got injured on a Friday night in a football game, you probably aren't going to play the following Friday, even if it's a very minor concussion in high school. There are some differences a little bit when you get into some upper level, and that's more up to the athlete. But in high school, it's basically, and this Concussion Act that was just passed, that goes into effect, the LB 260 that goes into effect July 1st, that will mandate concussion awareness training for coaching staff and for parents, so that they're aware of some of the signs and symptoms to watch for if an athlete does have a concussion.
Prior to that, wouldn't coaches already be trained in that?
Yes, you have. What you have is every coach, if whether or not you are going to be, even if you are not on staff, if you're not a certified staff member, in order to coach with players, unsupervised by anybody else, and you're not a teacher, you have to have that coaching authorization. You have to have that certificate that says you can do that. And one of the classes that you take is a care and prevention of injuries class, and that gives you a concussion awareness. What it does, if we say you have to go through a concussion awareness training here, that would be through like the CDC. And that would just make sure that every year, if there's updates in the concussion technology, concussion awareness, anything like that, that we're aware of that. And then any new staff that we have, or new coaching hires, we want to make sure that they also get that training, just to make sure that we know for sure, because sometimes in the care and prevention of injuries classes, you're going to get this wide range of knowledge. And we want to say, this is one thing that's important, we're focusing on this one. So that's kind of how it works with that.
Now, will schools start tracking the number of concussions an athlete would have?
Yes.
Or is this school going to start?
We are going to start, and the main reason that we will start is because we've started to use the ImPACT testing. And the ImPACT testing is, you can see it's a capital I-M and then P-A-C-T, and that's an acronym, and you can read that on there for what it is. But we have ordered this We've tested right now, we've tested our football players. And we started with the football players because we felt like that was the highest risk. And the testing went smooth, everything went the way it was supposed to, so now our plan is to move forward and get everybody on there. And part of the ImPACT program, what it does is it gives us a baseline test. So we can have all the football players come in, they take the test. All those results then are sent to me.
Mm-hmm.
And within that, I have the ability to look at their baseline tests. And the baseline tests are, it's simple tests, it's memory, it's reaction, it's just all computer based. It's nothing different than what they do on video games. And we get that baseline, and then we know if each kid's taken it, and then we also know from there if they have an injury. You click on the button that says they have an injury, we put the date down for the concussion, we put the when it was treated, and then also we'll have that post-injury test that we'll give them. And that will save that all the way until that student graduates.